So there's two sections of this aspiration, this liturgy, I should say. The first part is basically, in Tibetan, we call it melam, which is prayer, or aspiration is probably a better word. And then last few stanzas is ngoa, ngoa melam, ngoa in Tibetan. I guess you can loosely translate that as a dedication. Aspiration. Okay, when we talk about a dedication, we are talking about having done something, and whatever that act you dedicate to a specific cause. Whereas aspiration, the manam, it's not, it basically, the actual aspiration is the action. It's not really the dedication. So there's two parts in this liturgy. It begins, and it begins with the Mahaguru, Mahaguru Jinlapji, even the title of this aspiration, which there is no really a specific title, but for the convenience, people have ended up calling this Mahaguru prayer. So the stanza, the whole prayer begins with the Mahaguru Jinlapji by the blessing of the glorious Guru. Now this sentence can be used throughout. You could almost sort of use this sentence to at the beginning of each section of this prayer. Mahaguru Jinlapji, Dajang Sirap Tamjidu Shingham Dabu Paranda Lama Tame Tambar Shok, Mahaguru Jinlapji, Mugi Temjang Mebe, Nebishabdo Dupada Bombasam. Basically, the blessing, through the blessing of the Guru, may so and so, such and such be accomplished, etc. Now this is if, how should I put it? This is this statement alone is actually something quite special. So because this is probably one of the quintessential sentence of this whole liturgy, let us dwell discussing this a little bit. First, the word Jinlap, very, very badly translated, is blessing, I guess, in English. And I don't know what Akiko-san will translate this in Japanese or in French or whatever. Buddhists in general don't believe that an external force, God or a guru or a creator, will sort of insert or pour down a power or a blessing. Ultimately, this is not a Buddhist view. So when we talk about Chinlap, what are we talking here? The real Chinlap or the real blessing is your own mind, which is stainless, which is also actually the Maha Guru. So can you understand, how Yeshe Tsogyal is just brilliant. This one, you can read it, Mahaguru, Chinabji Dajan Sarab Thamjetu, you can read this prayer as if, especially, in the, when we talk about the setting of this aspiration, we are talking about when Guru Rinpoche Padmasambhava, when he was about to leave Tibet, when he was about to take flight to Copper-Colored Mountain, all the kings and ministers and scholars and translators, and of course, Yeshe Tsogyal, they were all in, this Gungthang La. It's a kind of a hill or a peak of a place called Gungthang. And well, many of you, those who are familiar with the Nyingma teaching, you will know, I sometimes tease many of my Nyingma friends that this Gungthang peak seems to be like a place where lots and lots of teachings have happened. In fact, I guess it's kind of very normal, isn't it? When you love somebody, when you respect somebody, and when this somebody is about to leave, let's say he's about to take a bus, or when he's about to take a train or go to airport, then suddenly you think about, you read your notes and, is there anything that I've left, forgotten to ask, I guess, something like that. So many, exchange between Guru Rinpoche and Chiral Pachen and Guru Rinpoche, and so many others happened on the peak of Gungthang. Yeah, I'm really dying to go to this peak of Gungthang. One of these days, I really wish to go. I don't know, that place has to be something quite special. Anyway, this prayer happened to be Yeshe Tsogyal's. I don't think we should call it a farewell prayer, because farewell is not really the point. I mean, farewell is not really it. It's really like parting, I guess, temporarily parting from the Guru. So sort of her last prayer just before Guru Rinpoche took off. So when you hear these stories, then of course, we are talking about a very relative, symbolic, and historical Guru who is about to depart, and the historical sort of disciple, or in her case, the consort, is offering her last sort of parting prayer. But as you will notice as we go down a few more stanzas, and probably this is here, this is the, here I should also mention there are so many treasure teachings of the many different Tertan treasure discoverer, where, and especially also in the Pema Lingpa teachings, where there's a clear confirmation or a statement of how actually Yeshe Tsogyal is she is, or she was, or she is Guru Rinpoche. Sometimes we call her Lama Yum, Lama Yab Yum. So really cannot see her as some sort of a separate entity from Guru Rinpoche. She's just Guru Rinpoche. But for dualistic, time-bound, space-bound people like us, we need to have some sort of something tangible to think of. So then I guess Guru Rinpoche as the master, Yeshe Tsogyal as, actually Yeshe Tsogyal is always referred as a Tok, Je, Mbang, Tok. Tok means friend. Even on the relative level, Yeshe Tsogyal is, most of the time, Yeshe Tsogyal is referred as the dog or the companion. Dog Yeshe Tsogyal. But more importantly, the word Mahaguru is actually referring to our own nature of the mind. This is why the word Maha in Sanskrit mean referring to something great, something like infinite. Okay, going back to the blessing. And I use this example a lot, and probably I will use it again here. If you need to wash a dish, a dirty dish, the fact that dish, the dirty, seemingly temporarily, seemingly dirty dish can be washed is because dish itself inherently is never permanently stained by the dirt. That is the blessing. You see, this is a kind of important here in the whole thing. So this Jinlap, you don't have to download from somewhere. You don't have to actually beseech. You already actually have it. I mean, you have mind, don't you? And I have mind. You are listening to me. You are sort of comprehending me. You are sort of knowing what I'm saying or not knowing. Probably some of you are getting confused. Even then, what is it that is getting confused? The mind. This mind. The great Saraha, one of the greatest Mahamudra master, also said, Rinchen Nondisamla Chasalo, I prostrated to the mind that is like a wish-fulfilling gem. This is actually the real Jinlap, real Mahaguru. And that you have it. But of course, on the relative level, this mind, our innate Guru, Mahaguru, which is now being projected as I guess he's if the external Guru Rinpoche is alive today, he would be holding Pakistani passport, no? Or what? Afghan? I think something like that, right? Pakistani, right? Peshawar. I have a lot of things to say about this, but probably it's not the right thing to say. When you look at those people, you could feel, their turban, and they're just such a, this mountain-like look. I could just feel it sometimes. But anyway, I don't want to waste our time here talking about these things. But anyway, yes. So externally, Guru Rinpoche, time-bound, one who went to, well, Bhutanese, we are so proud that he went to a place, he went to very near our airport. Druk Air flies, well, probably not these days, but before the pandemic, almost every day over the Parotaksam. And we are very proud that he was there. And not only that, Yeshe Tsogyal, Bhutanese are very proud, and they should be, that there's a two most important place of the Yeshe Tsogyal and Guru Rinpoche, and they're both in Bhutan, Mankan Nering Sengezong and Pado Taksang, both are in Bhutan. So, those are, some of us, okay, we all have mind, all of us, but some of our mind have this cause and condition, this kind of, what do you call it, affinity, this kind of, I don't know, because of our, you can call it merit, you can call it our karma, we can call it our past karmic aspiration. We just feel inspired, we feel excited, we feel close to phenomena such as Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal. So for this kind of people, when we say Mahang Guru Chinapji, we could think that this is referring to Guru Rinpoche. Either way is fine. But I need to tell you this, because when we say Mahang Guru Chinapji, if this statement is only referring to the historically bound Guru Rinpoche, who once upon a time, 2000 years ago, came to Bhutan and he never returned, then we are, remember I was talking earlier, then we are thinking very small. Then we are thinking very limited. Then we are thinking in terms of things like anthropology, history, measurement. The moment you think like that, you are basically not much bigger than a small mouse or a, I don't know, insect. Mouse, cats, they have a certain capacity to think. They have their language. Using their own language, they communicate. There's nothing that extraordinary. So the reason why I'm stressing this before we go ahead with the rest of the prayer. And okay, so now to explain this further. Mahang Guru Chinapji, Dachang, Serap Tamchidu, Shinkam Tabi Porando, Lama Tarme Tambarsho. May I never be separated from the Guru in the palace and the Buddha field, in the Buddha field and the palace of the pure, primordially pure state. Okay. It's like this. Prayer. This, yes, you can say this is a prayer. This is a prayer liturgy. This is, let's say, prescribed by Yeshe Tsogyal, discovered by Pema Lingpa, and we are to do this. Now, you know, we should pray to something that is achievable, you know, achievable. You know, like nowhere in this whole prayer, it says, may I never die. You understand? That's not achievable. Prayer has to be achievable. Otherwise, whoever has composed this prayer is deceiving us. So the first sentence, Lama Dharme Tambarsho, may I never be separated from the Guru. How is that possible? Especially Guru Rinpoche is about to take off to Mayapling, you know, copper-colored mountain. What's she talking about? She's here, she's on the Gungtang, peak of the Gungtang, basically saying goodbye. And then she's also praying, may I never be separated from you. What is that? But because, as I said earlier, because the Mahaguru is none other than the nature of your mind. Mahaguru is your mind. That is the Jinlap. And this, even if you wish to separate, you cannot. Try yourself, right this very moment. Can you try to say sort of, hey, mind, can you sort of pause for 1 hour or 1 minute? You cannot. You're stuck with it, you know. It's just that we are not being able to use its full capacity. Remember, I told you earlier, especially these scientists, the rationalists, all this, you know, I really don't know. I was thinking recently that we human beings, we have achieved a lot. I mean, iPhone 13 is about to come very soon, right? I mean, just within my own life, the smartphones are just mind-boggling. I'm using something called Siri. This Siri is doing a lot of things, sometimes just talking to me out of nowhere. But as I said earlier, we're just not being able to use the one thing that is the most important, that is our mind. So for us, what's happening? Lamadang, Dral. We are always separated. I mean, even though in reality, we are not never separated from the Guru. It's a bit like you are a beggar, destitute, poor, you have nothing, begging food, struggling, and you have your bedroom right on the top of a treasure mine. It's equal to you don't have the treasure. Let's say you have a gold nugget hanging on your neck, but you don't know it's gold. It's equal to not having gold. You go here, there, You sit, you sleep, you eat with mind, but you are not using mind. Yeshi Tsogyer praying Mahanguri Chinabji, Dajang setup tamchido all the time. This setup is not necessarily referring to this life and the next life. It's talking about continuously. May I be able to not separate from this Mahaguru, Lama Tamidambar shows. And then if I mean, each stanza has an incredible, wealth and depth. So we of course need to sort of complete this prayer. So if I go through this, without any hypocrisy, without any, what do you call it? Contrived, fabricated maybe, but with a genuine admiration, devotion, and pure perception to this Guru. And every time when I say Guru, please always think in terms of two kinds: the inner Guru, the Mahaguru, your nature of the mind, and the outer Guru, which is the reflection of this. For Khandro Yeshe Tsogyal, is the Guru Rinpoche. Also for us, it's Guru Rinpoche. And for a lot of us, we are our own Guru, whom we have received teachings. Because I have received Pema Lingpa teachings from Japji Dujum Jigre Yeshe Doji, for me, Jigre Yeshe Doji is Guru Rinpoche. When I received these teachings from Japji Dujum Rinpoche, he had asthma, he had to cough a lot. And that is because that's all my swanam, merit, my own capacity of pure perception can, handle, so to speak. If my merit and my pure perception is bigger, I'm sure every cough, every wheezing sound he made when he was having an asthma attack, I could extract lots of nectar of teachings. But, me bound by dualistic thinking, but at the same time, lucky enough to appreciate Dujum Jigre Yeshe Doji as someone who is connected to Guru Rinpoche. So anyway, with a genuine devotion towards this Guru, fulfilling the wishes of this Guru, offering our service. And when we talk about a service, especially the service of practicing. Now, this is another important point here. When we talk about pleasing the Guru, Paltu Rinpoche talks about the 3 ways to please. The most powerful and the important way to please the Guru is by practicing. Practicing what? Practicing mind, right? By practicing mind, what happens? it takes you to the inner guru. So it's like much more than pleasing. When we are talking about a pleasing, we are talking about an external being, getting pleased. And then if you on top of that, offering physical or I don't know, whatever your skill, your time, and giving your, what do you call it, service to the Shabdo. This is Nyebi Shabdo, Shabdo. It's like a service, physical, time, skill. And then lastly, material, food, flowers, incense, I don't know, greetings. And through this, fulfilling the wishes of the Guru, may I be able to actualize the Jinlap. Again, I've already explained the Jinlap earlier. Actualize one's own nature of the mind. And then here now, Kusung Tuji Jinlapchi. So I would, again, just to, this is what I was saying, Mahaguru Jinlapchi. This sentence, we can bring it all the way here. Mahaguru Jinlapchi, Kusung Tuji Jinlapchi, Mahaguru Kusung Tuji Jinlapchi. Lunga Yesu Mimba, Samuja Zonam, Manto Duba Chabarsho. This is just when I'm to understand the prayer. I'm not suggesting that you should bring that sentence when you are doing the prayer. Of course not. Anyway, by the blessing of the Guru's body, speech, and mind, through his body, speech, and mind, may my body, speech, and mind ripen. Okay, so this two sentence, Kusung Tuji Chinlapji Lunga Yisum Minbatang, this sentence is talking about Abhisheka, Wang. And it really, yes, Wang, Abhisheka. And Bhutanese, many Bhutanese are quite familiar with the idea, the phenomena called Wang, Wang Shu, we say, Wang, receiving Wang. Okay, Wang. The term Wang is like authority, right? Authority, entitlement. I think authority is good. Empowerment is also good. Again, if we use the word entitlement, if you are, let's say, I don't know, son of Duke of Nottingham, then you are entitled. I just made that up. I don't know whether there's any Duke called Duke of Nottingham. Let's say you are a son of a Duke of, I don't know, Wellington or Edinburgh or whatever. Then you are entitled to the wealth or the position of that, I don't know, Edinburgh, Rochester, whatever. You understand? So we are talking about the similar thing here. You, all of us, we are entitled to Ku, Sung, Tuk, Kaya, Vaka, Chitta, body, speech, and mind of the Buddha. Why? Because our mind is a Buddha. The similar thing what I said earlier, Chinlap. We are entitled. And this word min is such an important word. Min means ripen, right? Right now, you and my body is a bit like green tomato, not yet ripened, unless you like the green tomato. But let's say you want to have a, I don't know, pomodoro, pasta, pomodoro. You want a red tomato, right? So it has to be ripened. You and I, our body, our mind, our speech is like a really hard, unripened tomato. But one thing that you need to know is that at least we are a tomato. If you are avocado and we need to eat pomodoro, pasta pomodoro, useless, you're useless. Isn't it? Pomodoro, red tomato, this is what we want. So we are so lucky that at least we are green tomato. Sure, we are green tomato. At least we can be ripened to the red tomato. You have that, the whole ingredient in you. So by the blessing of the body, speech, and the mind of the Guru, our body, speech, and mind gets ripened as the Ku, Sung, and Tuk, body, speech, and mind. Buddha's body, Buddha's speech, Buddha's mind. So here, Kusung Tukji Chinapji Dunga is Mimbadang. So when he talks about this, she's talking about Abhisheka. What is it? Wang. Okay. Most of us, it takes time for a green tomato to become red tomato. So, meanwhile, what do you do? Now we know at least it's a tomato. That's already, I should not really say at least. The big good news is that you are a tomato. Anybody who comes in the middle of this teaching, they will get really confused. They will think, what's happening here? Dzongsa Khyentse is supposed to teach this very profound teaching on Mahaguru prayer, but we are now talking about a tomato. But anyway, maybe somebody can recap. But anyway, green tomato. So for some of us, it takes time to ripen. So what do we do? I don't know. Sun, let the sun hit. I'm not a farmer, so I don't know about this. I guess, sun is an important one, right? So that it will ripe properly. And I don't know, railing, fencing, so that goats won't eat it, obstacles, So then what do we do? For that, Samu Chezo Namnila Wangto Drupa Cheparsho. So for that, we need to practice Upanikrama and Sampanikrama, Cherim and Zogrim. Lunga use maybe the Samu Chezo Namnila, Upanikrama, the Cherim and Zogrim. So very briefly, we have no time to talk about the whole, these are really, as I was saying, Khandro Ishi Sogel, I'm telling you, these things are not written. You can't write these things. Of course, nowadays, we lamas, we just copy these things and, arrange the words here and there, but these things can't be written. These things it just comes out when you are when you can claim the entitlement, when you have the DNA document to prove that you are the child of Duke of, I don't know, Edinburgh, or I don't know, whatever, then you can just confidently go and claim. This is what happened with all this Datan, you see. So, I mean, for some of us, maybe this is an easier way to understand. Between Pema Lingpa and Yeshe Tsogyal and Guru Rinpoche, they're exactly the same thing, one. Because of that, Pema Lingpa is basically entitled to. It's like, okay, I'm entitled, I am entitled, and I can remember. I am allowed to remember and tell you, I just took a Japanese, what do you call it, noodle, as for, for my lunch, right? I can tell you that. This is exactly how it is for these treasure takers. They can just, it's entitled, they can just express, because they're the one, it's coming from the same ocean. Anyway, to maintain your body, speech, and mind as the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha, you then do it through two techniques. One is Jerim and the other is Zorim. Upanikrama and Sampanikrama. And it's very briefly, Jerim is basically maintaining that you are not an ordinary person, or you are not an ordinary being. You are actually a deity, a Dakini, Daka, whatever. It's a bit like this. Let's say you have a dementia. You forgot who you are. Okay? And your guru is sort of, out of his compassion, his or her compassion, is like showing you certain your guru is using certain techniques, such as, okay, let's say you have a dementia, and this is one pill that you always take, right? So I don't know, your parents or your friends sort of, 6 times a day, try to show you, what's this? This is, you're very familiar. This, you're about to recall. So always showing. So it's a bit like that. Right now we have a dementia. We've forgotten who we are. We are Guru Rinpoche, we are Yeshe Tsogyal, we are this and that deity, but we have forgotten. So this kind of a trick is basically Jerim. So there's so many techniques where you are supposed to, for instance, in Bhutan, since I'm speaking to a lot of Bhutanese here, a lot of Bhutanese are very keen on practicing Trema, like Krodikali. So basically trying to remind themselves with attributes such as, fangs and dark and curved knife and so on and so forth. So that's what basically, I'm trying to express this kind of in a very, I don't know, simple way as I'm trying, so yeah. And then Dzogrim is basically trying to know that everything you visualize or you think or not think are basically just your projection. They are nothing more than a reflection of your mind, projection of your mind. Just like a moon reflecting on the water, they are there, but at the same time, they are not there. So this understanding the emptiness aspect is basically the Dzogrim. So by the blessing of the Guru, Mahaguru, may I be able to receive the Wang, may I be able to receive the, after receiving the Wang, may I be able to practice the Jerim and Dzogrim, and basically how should I say, merge our life into practice. We are supposed to take a break. If I'm over the time, can somebody tell me? Am I?
You're good. We have 25 more minutes.
Okay. Okay. Next one. Lokto duji chonam da neden parchi shiwa khordam nongcho jebai samba yijin du barsho. It's just incredible. Every word. By the power of the Mahaguru's blessing, may the obstacles, so she has, categorized obstacles here first. And as you can, notice, of all the obstacles, the worst one, the most vicious one, the thing that we should be really, really worried about is not really like sickness. Not things like, all kinds of obstacles like even death. No, not yet. It's not, not on the top list. Right on the top is lokto, wrong view. Wrong view is synonymous to du, like lokto, du jitsonamda. Du, demon, Mara. Who is it? It's a lokto, wrong view. What kind of wrong view are we talking about? Oh, so much. I mean, I can go on and on about this, and it will end up becoming a ranting. I mean, the fact that I have to do this, Some ranting is almost like inevitable from Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche, isn't it? The fact that the rise of individualism individual right. Wow, that is one of the biggest locked up wrong view. It's just not possible at all. Yes, ideally, romantically, this is possible. Rise of individualism. I mean, forget the Dharma practice. You can't even have a proper relationship. You can't even have a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, or a boyfriend-boyfriend or girlfriend-girlfriend. You can't even have a proper relationship. Because, you want to use your WhatsApp. Your girlfriend or a boyfriend wants to use WeChat. Each and every individual. It's so confusing. This self-cherishing, so much hype on individualism, and actually believing that it's possible. That is one wrong view that is killing the modern people. It's basically destroying the modern people. Of course, the politicians, they're so happy when they hear this. They have something to feed. But Yeshe Tsogyal is not even talking about this. That was me, ranting. That's like a kindergarten level of Lokto. You understand, for Yeshe Tsogyal? For Yeshe Tsogyal, the real Lokto is you not even believing that your mind is perfect as it is. Condemning yourself. Looking down at yourself. This is the real Lokto. And this is specifically important for my fellow, young Bhutanese, because my fellow young Bhutanese, sometimes, they get easily what they call Khotang Chat. Khotang Chat. I don't know how to translate that in other language, Khotang Chat. I don't know. Like, how do you translate that, Pao? Khotang Chat.
I'm not sure, Bajeta.
Khotang Chat. They just, in one of the Bhutanese dialect, it's called Semshi. Such an amazing term. Semshi means the death of mind. Someone tells you something very, very little, maybe negative. Semshi, jang semshiwa. Someone Khotang Chat. I don't know. It's basically something to do. Basically, we have forgotten this gold mine that is basically all the time with us, and not being able to use this wealth, and putting so much effort in all the other things, external things. And when things does not go according to this petty plan, then basically sort of like giving up. I think Khotang Chat has something to do with the giving up. Yeah. This is what, anyway, dualistic mind is the fundamental Lokto. And on top of that, of course, wrong view of not believing in cause and condition and effect, wrong view on path, eternalistic view, nihilistic view, so on and so forth. So that is main obstacle that we need to overcome. So by the blessing of Mahaguru, may this Lokto maybe be able to overcome that together with all the other, like sickness, obstacles, may they all be pacified. May we have friends, families, retinues, and may our wish be fulfilled. Okay, the next return. Praying to the Guru. By the blessing of the Mahaguru, may I be able to always put the practice of mindfulness, awareness. May I be able to apply the one-pointedness, samadhi, tingzin, at all time. And here I want to explain this a little bit more. Where should we, all the favorable places. And then here she laid few names here. Duche, cemetery. Rite is more like a isolated or like a mountain. Ri is mountain. It's more, yeah. And then Gangche is like a glacier. But we have to understand this not only literally. Literally is also fine. There is a tradition, especially in the past in Bhutan, probably getting less and less now. There are actually, even when I was growing up, there were a lot in Bhutan, remote places, mountains, are filled by practitioners. But when this, cemetery, mountain, or isolated place, or glaciers, she's not only talking about the actual physical cemetery. In one sense, cemetery is everywhere. Where there is a body, like right now, wherever you are sitting and listening to this, in a way is a cemetery. Why? Because that body that you have, that will be discarded like a used tissue paper anytime, any day. So in this sense, everywhere is a cemetery. This is one way to understand the cemetery. Of course, also the real cemetery is considered very, very special place, but basically everywhere. Isolated place is also, again, where it could be maybe your living room is not really isolated, but maybe your bedroom is isolated from distractions. Or maybe you can isolate every day from your home to a park. You can isolate yourself, even for a few seconds. And the counter, this is probably for a very new audience here, a little difficult to understand, but again, this can be understood literally, but more importantly, the glacier is the counter is you are supposed to do Tummo, Kundalini, this heat practice. Now, this is, of course, a really very vast subject. The reason why we are supposed to do this heat or Kundalini practice is we are a human. And as a human, we belong to what we call desiring realm. Of all the emotions, our desire, emotion desire is probably the most prominent, especially desire that is related to physical. And I'm not only talking about like wanting to eat food and just like a warmth, like, I don't know, like intimacy, that kind of desire is a very, very strong emotion for human beings. So in the Tantra, there is a method of using this emotion as the path. And that practice is called Kundalini, or sometimes Tummo, heat, fire. So she's talking about that basically. Anyway, the most important word here is sok, meaning so on, wherever, as long as it takes you closer to your true nature, that is a perfect place. So to these places, may I be able to practice at all times. Shall we take a break now?
Last Mujela. So we will take a break for 15 minutes.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. I was just rereading it. This prayer, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's almost safe to say I do it every day. After a while, we just do it. It ends up becoming some sort of a ritual. So we don't pay enough attention. But I was reading it carefully just now during the break. And I feel sorry for you guys because I'm not doing the justice to Yeshe Tsogyal and Pema Limpa. There's so much in it. Anyway, let's continue. So, by the power of the Mahaguru's blessing, this is something, especially for the practitioners, I want to just say this. Have you noticed something here? Everything is basically essentialized, distilled, if you like, to just one, trusting the Guru. Even the trusting the Guru, we ask the Guru, Mahaguru, to bless me so that I will trust you. You know? It's just, this is what I call the beauty and the wealth of the Tantra. You know, usually the practitioners always complain, oh, I'm not practicing enough. Then what do? You try to extend your practice. You try to, I don't know, do more numbers. I don't know, spend more time and energy with the practice. But here, Khandro Rinpoche Tsogel, even that, you basically leave it in the hands of the Guru. By the power of the Guru's blessing, may I practice. And this is so good. So Drupa Jebin Debu, Tinenamji Drupa, Lasin Dandu Konaja, Sanje Temba Sumasho. By the blessing of the Guru, this is sort of the continuation of the earlier stanza. By the blessing of the Guru, may I be able to spend my energy and time in practicing. And practicing what? I like to talk about this a little bit. The word practice has been misleading people a lot. And part of it I can understand, because a lot of these methods, such as, okay, and especially I'm talking to a Bhutanese audience here. When we say, oh, are you practicing? And also other Sangha, it's similar, because many of you, the Sanghas from, I don't know, Russia, France, Spain, you have these Tibetan Bhutanese gurus. So they have brought their nuances, right? Anyway, when we say practice, most of the time we are referring to some sort of a number. Have you done 100,000 prostrations? Have you done one row? Did you sit half an hour? Did you do 9 days vipassana? Every day 9 hours sitting? Did you sit? Did you actually put your butt on the cushion? So always referring to something tangible, something physical, something, countable, measurable. And as I said earlier, to the certain extent, I can understand. We should forgive this to the certain extent, but we need to be careful here. Especially in front of ladies like Yeshe Tsogel, we have to be kind of cautious. She's very sharp. Here, when we talk about a practice, it's basically like for fellow Bhutanese, I would say, I mean, not just Bhutanese, anyone, especially Bhutanese, since we are so blessed, physically connected to Guru Rinpoche. I'm quite sure if there's a dedicated scientist, you can go to Bumthang or Gurje or Sengezong and you can sort of search for Guru Rinpoche DNA. I'm sure there's droplets here and there, you know. It's really, and Yeshe Tsogel. So amazing. So for us Bhutanese, if you admire Guru Rinpoche, if you love Guru Rinpoche, you know, wow, he, you know, rides tiger. Even this, I would treasure much more than, have you done 100,000 prostrations? Have you done 9 hours of sitting? Sort of a genuine admiration towards Guru Rinpoche. But I understand, you know, I used to be one of the fellow young, you know, when I was younger, you know, I used to be, you know, these youngsters who are embarrassed to talk about Guru Rinpoche, you know, like tiger, riding tiger. And then, you know, I used to be embarrassed about talking about Guru Rinpoche having footprint on stones and stuff like that. Because the reason why, I know why, because I'm afraid that all these modern people, scientific people will, you know, I'm afraid that they may categorize me into this department of flat earth department, or those, you know, people who believe that the earth is flat. Really, this is my confession. And I have to thank Chilean writer, Chilean woman writer. Her name is Isabella Allende. She wrote some books, and this was much later, actually, when I kind of managed to read a little bit of English. And in there, she talks about all her, you know, childhood, and she talks about this woman with the green hair. And it was so fascinating. And I was so like, of course, why should we be embarrassed about this magical world? In fact, believing in this rational, scientific is so, just on that is so limiting. It really makes things so narrow. So now I am so proud of being a citizen of this country that actually believes somebody called Guru Rinpoche came to Parotaksang flying on, you know, riding a flying tiger. Fantastic. To me, it is equally believable that there is this head on my neck. Because after all, this is also my projection. I believe that there's a head on this neck. That's all. it's a projection. Of course, the scientists and all this, modern people, they may laugh at this, but, they are getting very, very deprived, living in this small cage. Anyway, so for us, practice is really liking, admiring, loving, getting inspired by words like Yeshua Togel and Bemeling. But that is really actually the ingredient of practice. If you have that, 9 hours sitting, 5 hours sitting, this much prostrations, that much mandala offering, those are easy. Those are actually doable. Those are actually a bit like a gimmick, That is achievable. You think that's not achievable, that's achievable. But liking, admiring to Guru Rinpoche, admiring to this kind of like fascinating world of paradoxy, that needs a bit of a blessing. That's not going to come that easily. So through the blessing of a Mahaguru, we need that. And that is called practice, actually. If the fellow Bhutanists here, if they could think about Guru Rinpoche, and here again, I will say this, if they tattoo Guru Rinpoche on their shoulder, out of admiration towards Guru Rinpoche, fantastic. That is called practice. And through that kind of admiration towards Guru Rinpoche, liking towards Guru Rinpoche, what will then happen? Because through that, then, actually, this is such a profound statement here, but let me just first say this. First, because of this, as a result of Drupa Jebin Debuyi, as a result of this practice, you will accomplish 4 kinds of activity. Shi, Je, Wang, Da, pacifying, peaceful activity, increasing activity, and what? Magnetizing activity, and the subjugating activity. Now, let me just give you a very shallow, but probably good for many of the younger listeners here, shallow analogy. By trusting the Guru Rinpoche, Mahaguru, innate Mahaguru, especially innate Mahaguru, and if not, at least the represented Guru, which is Guru Rinpoche, by trusting him, by admiring him, what will happen? At the least, when you are tormented by Khotang Chat, remember that word, that untranslatable word. There's so many untranslatable words in different, nations. And the Japanese, they have so much. I actually collect them because they're so beautiful. I think Bhutanese word Khotang Chat is one of those untranslatable words. But anyway, feeling abandoned, feeling, I don't know, alienated, probably, alienation, alienated, depressed, sad, abandoned, hopeless, Khotang Chat. When you can, if you can develop, ideally to the Mahaguru, innate Mahaguru, if not to the outer Guru, that Khotang, they will be an outlet to surrender to a higher force. And that's easily going to pacify. So you see, pacifying activity is accomplished. And how about increasing? Increase, rich, prosperity. By the time you trust yourself, your inner innate Mahaguru and the outer Guru, this person is quite content. When a person is content, person is already rich. Person doesn't need extra vacuum machine. I don't know. When the person is not content, then you need this, you need that. Never ever you will feel rich. You always feel that you are not there yet. You still need to acquire more. And this exists even, I mean, it's, like billionaires. They never think they have enough. So they're basically poverty-ridden. They, inside there, they may have billions, but contentment is not there. So there's no increasing activity. Okay, magnetizing. This is something that everybody wants, isn't it? Why are we not being able to magnetize others? Why are we not be able to seduce others? Let's use a very crude word. Seduce or magnetize. Why? Because you look like a nervous, you look like a wreck because you are so nervous. You have no confidence. Your eyes are rolling everywhere. You're looking right and left. You're always fixing your tie or your kabne. You're always like nervous. Not just relax, you understand? So all the other people who are also nerve-wracked, when they look at you, they get even more nervous. They can't relax because, here's another, nervy guy. Why would they trust you? But when you are confident, then they will, I can talk to this person. Just the demeanor and the vibe of this person, you will feel when this person is in the house, the vibe of this person is like, I can sort of relax. That's how you magnetize. And how do you subjugate? Subjugate, basically, like overpower. Because you have no agenda other than this inner guru. You have that trust towards the Mahaguru. So when you have no more agenda, you have basically conquered the world. Now, this is the really, really important. The next word. What an amazing, powerful word. Hla basically means God or a divine. Simple is like a monster, demon, let's say. Ten means slave. By perfecting the four activity, may I be able to make both God and demon as my servant. What a statement. In the normal, many other people, oh, the God, you want to surrender to God. Demon, you want to crush them. But here, no, equally. Moment you like to destroy bad things and surrender to good things, you are not a master. If you look at both good and bad, both God and demon as equal, now you are the master. The moment you prefer the God, you have become weak because you prefer God. So demons also know this. So the demons may sometimes act as a God, or some of those gods are very, very wacky. Some of those demons are very good friends with demons. Because those gods. So you can really get confused. So may I be able to basically order around, boss around both God and the demon. And here actually literally also referring to, spirits. And by managing to boss around them or order around them, may I be able to make them protect the Buddha Dharma. Okay? May the Guru's blessing, this is so good. This is just so important. Many, many Dharma students, we think that Dharma can be studied. That only through study, read book, highlight, make notes, listen, only through that you will understand the Dharma. Yes, to the certain extent, but with a lot of effort. Here, Yeshe Tsogyal is saying, just pray to Guru. By the blessing of the Guru, without any of these difficulties, may the understanding of the Dharma arise in me. And through that understanding, may I perfect the realization. And by the power of the, so by the power of the Guru's blessing, may I have the bodhicitta, energy. And through this bodhicitta, may I magnetize all sentient beings. And like a wish-fulfilling gem, without any obstructions, may I be, this is such a good thing. You really should make note of this. Many of you are probably wishing to really benefit sentient beings, right? But then you feel that you are inadequate. You are not, powerful enough. You are not equipped enough. No need to worry about it. By the power of the Guru's blessing, may I have the Changchugisam bodhicitta, and by having that, what does that mean? That means through the blessing of the Gurus and the bodhicitta, let's say you go to Sunday market. This is exclusive Bhutanese, so I don't know whether the translators would understand. Every week there's some sort of a vegetable market in Thimphu. Sort of badly designed, I must say. I'm sorry to say this, whoever has designed those. Anyway, if you happen to go to vegetable market, and let's say you wore a bright togo, especially the ladies, and somebody sees you because you have such a bright togo, shirt. That is already in Del. Del is like a connection. And probably this person will never speak to you, never even look at you twice, but look at you once just because you have a bright red togo, or I don't know, some really strange lipsticks you have put on, I don't know, whatever. Because of that, there is some sort of just a momentary Delwa link. And may this become Dandang Demba show. Dandang Demba means may it become meaningful. So see, even by going to Sunday market, vegetable market, you can make that, what do you call it, excursion to Thimphu vegetable market meaningful. All the more reasons to go to vegetable market from now on. And all the more reasons to put on brighter and, I don't know, bright or strange or, I don't know, remarkable makeup or, I don't know, bags, or, I don't know. If you dare walk naked, but probably I would not suggest. Okay, it's getting late. So since it's getting late, I'm getting a little bit off the sort of, okay, just say number shows. And by the blessings of the Guru, may the Buddha Dharma flourish. May the stakeholder of the Buddha Dharma live long, or may there be a lot of those stakeholders or the lineage holders. May they teach, and may the teachings be increased. And through that, may all the Dokin Dela Königin, may all be placed in the blissful happiness state. And through that, may all field, meaning may all realm or countries or places, may they all become perfect. And may I so profound this prayer, may I be able to, not really may I be able to, may I appear or get projected by others, different people, different beings, with the different capacities, different, I don't know, different values, different background. May they be able to project me, and may through this projection, may I be able to benefit as a, Buddha's manifestation. In other words, and this is sort of an inside joke in Bhutan, okay? Here you can see in this stanza, you are basically entitled to be a tulku. Here, it says, Dagi lunga, yisum, deja sosi loyal, kana kandu, tubiku, pado meba. You know, this tulku business, in a certain society, it's only reserved for certain people, but it's not. Country Sophie says this. May my body, speech, and mind, for different people, however they wish. I don't know, however they wish. Some as a teacher, some as a, I don't know, friend, some as a, probably even enemy, some as a, I don't know, like a bus, like a companion for a, I don't know, taxi ride, or I don't know, however may I appear, infinite amount from now on. So next time when you meet a Tulku, please quote this and say, well, I have become a Tulku. I am able to also manifest a lot of Tulku from now on. And if you ask, how so? You should quote Yeshe Tsogyal and Pema Lingpa, same thing, right? Lastly, summary. Ndorna konde malik guru nidan ermejin kusum dundal mebai namchen sanji yutasho. Just an amazing summary. In summary, in nutshell, may everything, not just nirvana stuff, not the good stuff, not the excellent stuff only, even the samsara, negative, impure stuff, may they all become inseparable, one taste, oneness with Guru, Mahaguru. Now, Kusum Dundral Mepai, this is a little difficult for the general audience. If those who wish to explore this Kusum Dundral Mepai have aspiration so that you will be able to get connected to this Kusum Dundral Mepai, Namchen Sanji Yutabsho, really talking about a Dzogpa Chamber, Mahasandhi stuff. Anyway, by becoming everything in one taste, Guru Rinpoche may all actualize Dhammakaya, Sambhogakaya, and the Nirmanakaya. And through that, may they be able to awaken swiftly, quickly. And then hear more. This is so beautiful. Yeshe Tsogyal praying to Guru Rinpoche. I pray to Guru Rinpoche. I pray to you. Bless these sentient beings so that they will pray to you. What an incredible statement here. So that they will supplicate, so that they will pray. I pray to Guru Rinpoche so that so that the Gurus will bless us. I pray to Guru Rinpoche so that the Yidam, the deities, will give us the Siddhi attainment. I pray to Guru Rinpoche so that all the Dakinis will give us guidance and the prophecies. It's sort of like a prediction. I pray to Guru Rinpoche so that all our Chechong Mahakalas, Dharmapalas will, dispel our obstacles. I pray to Guru so that Buddha Dharma will flourish. Pray to Guru so that all sentient beings will have happiness and bliss. So that everyone will dwell with the Dharma day and night. So that we will perfect one's own desire and the desire of others, or basically, so that one will attain oneself and all the others will attain enlightenment. Rangjin tabi geba di korwang sutong sisol hayamini chamchi kusum ngunjucho. Yeshe Tsogyal is saying, this is a virtuous action, but not ordinary virtuous action. The prayer that is made here has nothing selfish. Rangjin Tabigewa. First of all, it is coming from the most pure of the pure heart. It is not lopsided. It is not biased. You are not praying to your own village or your own, I don't know, your own kins. You are praying for everyone. And you are not only praying for some, like mundane achievements such as good food and good shelter, but realizing the truth. And especially Rangjin Tabigewa means this prayer is also this prayer is done with a total, totally based on the wisdom of Shunyata. That's what it is talking about. The prayer maker, the prayer, the aim of the prayer, all are illusion. With that understanding, we are doing this prayer. Therefore, this is a Rangjin Tabigewa, meaning it's the most supreme, pure prayer. And because of that, we have a confidence that this prayer will churn the depth of the samsara from the bottom, so that all sentient beings will never fall into the samsara. And they will all actualize Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. And this secret mantrayana, the secret teaching of all the Buddha, which is Vajrayana, and especially probably you can say it's also referring to like this specific also is related to a lot of the Pema Lingpa's treasure teaching. So such as Lama Nurbu Jamso, for instance. So may this Vajrayana teaching, like a rising sun in the sky, may it illuminate and propagate everywhere. Okay, so that's the aspiration. Now, that aspiration is a deed well done. This deed is what is being dedicated by the next few stanzas, which should be fairly easy to understand. Dagi gives our didang, gives our chandajan, pandanam to yonsu of the by the power of this deed and many other virtuous deeds, may the wishes of the Mahaguru be fulfilled. May I become powerful and able person, but for what? Nothing else. Only to propagate the Buddha Dharma, because only the Buddha Dharma is the answer to all the calamities, all the downfall. Therefore, may I be able to do that. May I be able to become that. And may I perfect my knowledge, compassion, and the ability, and become the Buddha. And may all sentient beings, those who are dwelling in the 6 realms, may they all be free from the ocean like samsara and quickly achieve the Tathagata. State of the Tathagata. So, as I said earlier, this was prayed just as Guru Rinpoche was about to board flight to, copper-colored mountain. And much later, many of the Yeshe Tsogyal's songs, prayers, teachings, because Guru Rinpoche told her that everything basically came out from her, will benefit so many sentient beings in the future, that she should immediately, it's not really write it down, okay? It's like, she should sort of, I don't know, it's almost like wrap it into this magical Dakini casket. So it's a really quite an amazing thing, actually. This is like, see, when all the cause and conditions are together, it happens, like this. Let's say there's a 2 candle, right? One is lit, the other is not lit yet, but the other has all the cause and conditions. There's a wick, there's oil, everything. And all you do is just touch it, and then there's another one without diminishing the first one. It doesn't have to transfer. Between Guru Rinpoche, Yeshe Tsogyal, and the Pema Lingpa, their wisdom mind is like that. So, okay, between Yeshe Tsogyal and Pema Lingpa, hundreds of years gap. Now, again, when we talk about 100 years, we are talking about this small, mouse-like brain. Years, such a limited mentality. So we have this kind of, I'd be damned, how can this possible? Well, if you can open your mind, when Pema Lingpa went to Lhota Mendo, this is probably what has happened. I already gave you, remember the very, very shallow example of Gabriela Garcia Marquez driving, I don't know where, he was driving, and he suddenly stopped. And he said to his wife, I have to go back. And the wife said, why? We planned this holiday for all this time. He said, no, I have to go back. Why? Because I've got the first line of the novel. The rest, just the first line. And he went back and he wrote the 100 Years of Solitude. That, just to give you a reference, is something like that. So this is what must have happened. Anyway, I'd like to conclude that I'm really happy that even though it was such a bad job that I have done today, because I have said yes when the organizer requested me to do this. I've said yes just so that the auspicious circumstance will not get broken. Otherwise, it's a huge task to explain this profound prayer. But anyway, at least it's a beginning. I'm especially happy for doing this sort of what do you call it? Celebrating the Pelling Loche. For those who are not familiar with the Loche, Pema Lingpa had a tremendous impact on a Bhutanese life. By the way, Pema Lingpa was, as I said earlier, he was a Bhutanese. So many great masters have come to Bhutan. I mean, Yeshe Tsogyal, she came to Bhutan, but she was a Tibetan. She was a Tibetan. And Guru Rinpoche, Pakistani, right? And yeah, Longchenpa came. He's also a Tibetan. And then there was many Kagyupa masters like Shabdrung Ngawang Namgyal, Drupal Lake. They're all Tibetan. And then later Dujom, Chense, all of these are Tibetans. But Padma Lingpa, he is a Bhutanese through and through. According to the lot of different accounts, he had that whole Bhutanese element, so to speak, the big sort of, what do you call it, calf. And there's a special calf that I don't think you translate as a good, no, it's a bit like anyway, it's a big calf and short, supposedly. And Bumtangpa, he's from Bumtang. Yeah. And he was very kind of crude, and most probably he was chewing a lot of beaten nut. And he was also a ironsmith. He was really, and I think Pao have already mentioned this. And I mean, nothing so special about being Bhutanese, but one thing we need to remember is there is not many, the Tibetans, I mean, we are talking about the, ancient time, right? So a lot of Tibetan masters, there's a historical account of how Bhutanese have relied upon Tibetan lamas, Tibetan gurus, but there's not many accounts about how the Tibetans rely on the Bhutanese lama. But with the Pema Lingpa, there is a lot. I mean, if there's any Minto Lingpa people listening here, they may probably feel a little bit amused, but I would, confidently say today, for instance, in the Nyingma tradition, there's something called Minto tradition, which is one of the most important seed of the Nyingmapa school. Minto Lingpa lineage is basically the disciple of the Pema Lingpas. If there's anybody who's disputing this, they can write to me. I can show them what, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So basically what I'm saying is that Bhutanese have so much affinity. I mean, he was one of our own. And because of that, lot of Bhutanese family, they do, even though they may not be able to practice the Pema Lingpa treasure teachings daily or monthly or weekly, there's a very beautiful sort of habit or a custom or a tradition, if you like, of doing what they call law. Law means like yearly. I mean, it means year. Che is like offering. So annual offering ceremony that the Bhutanese families, especially sort of well-to-do families, they observe. I believe that, because of the circumstance and the situation and the globalization and all of that, that may be now slowly waning, because many of these Bhutanese who used to observe the Pelling Loche, probably they're in Perth or they're in Jackson Heights, flipping hamburger, who knows what they are doing, or driving Uber. But anyway, I thought, it's a wonderful idea that a group of people actually, because that's the thing to do now, right? That's the way to observe our value. It's a different way and it's a good way. So this Loche festival, I think it's such a good idea. So I'm happy that I'm being invited to talk to you regarding this. During this time. I think that's about it for as far as the Belling Mahaguru prayer. I believe that there's some questions, so I don't know. I think we still have some time, so maybe, yeah. So where's the questions come from? And maybe if you know the name of the people who are asking the question, otherwise just the country, so that people know that their question is answered or not.
Lhasa Rinpoche, we have been gathering the questions from the different translation rooms and the Q&A box here. There's one request which is in all the rooms, which is Rinpoche, if Rinpoche can bestow the oral transmission of this prayer.
Okay, let me do that. But I don't know, giving a lung on through the Zoom is a bit of a controversy these days. There's a lot of lamas who oppose this. Just don't tell them I have done that today. So I will do this right now. Namo Guru, Lobinchimbo, Pema Juni, Hundred Simbi to Shebi Du, Mangilu Kuntang Lato, Yeshi Sojaji Chadon, Koroache, Guru Shap Jordan, Melam Diter Taba, Mahanguru Jinapji, Dazan, Serap Tamji, the Shinham Dabi Parando, Lama Tamit, Mugu Temchang, Mebe, Yebi Shato, Rubatan, Gombasam, Tuji, Jinabdi, Usung, Tuji, Jinabji. Lunga Yisum Imbatang, Sami Jezo Namil, Wanto Dubaje, Lodo, Dujson, Ne, Den, Bashi, she would cordon, Jeba, somebody to return, Contreso. Pusum Sobinani to things in some conjure out to Dubaje, Chilenamji Duba, Tassin, Tendo College, Sanje, Tembason, Tembes with the Tamchun, Some, Jula Chava Shop. Chembachola, Wanini, Toba Chodan, the Chanchu Simjit and its gentleman, Wandini, Tommy Jin, with Dresset, and on the show. Sanje Tembatavi to Jizin, Chedden Jebat, Drogen, Della Kennedy, Shingam Tamjita was Dagi Luma, is to just as loyal Kanakam, Tribico, Pado Meba Jumar Show, Donna Condemned Guru Nida, Yamich Kusum Dundre, Meba, Namchan Sanje, yourself shop. Samchen Sovan Debash, Lame Jinji Lovers, Idam Uduptars, Kandre Lundin Jebus, Chojong Patches, Sanje, Temba Tajin Jebus, Samchen, Tamji Dejin Jebus, Nindan Center, Chura Jebus, Rajen to Nifiji Show. Rajen Tabi gave the Kurwang and Sunton, Sisol Haraminish, Chamche Kusum, Jawa, Pinji Sanjin, Lame Chobi, but Chidar Colony, Jacamion, Dagi Givits, our didn't give it, our Shandan Jen. Pandan Tukon, Yosu of the Indian Jurji, Sanji Temper, Tajin Jeberchi, top then the Jewish chamber that seven rivers of Tarchin, so with Sanji Church, draw return and send them to call Dumaji Jum Soldier, you the ombres of a San Jeberjuchi, the 100 Pemeling, Flodra, and you trust Sengi Dumbajan, then Jumbo. Okay.